new lawsuit could keep Donald Trump off the Colorado primary ballot for 2024. The lawsuit cites part of the 14th Amendment, saying being part of an insurrection can disqualify you from running for office. Our legal analyst, Whitney Trailer, is joining us now. Whitney, thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Good to be here.
This is pretty fascinating. You're talking about Donald Trump, who is clearly the front runner by a landslide right now, potentially not being on the ballot. Is there any merit to this argument?
Well, it's really interesting, and some folks would say yes, there's merit. Others would say no. So this is under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, and the 14th Amendment, this section of it, you have to remember, was right after the Civil War, and so what they didn't want to happen is a bunch of Confederate officers to be elected and then overtake the government they just rebelled against, and so they said, if you've participated in, and I had to print it out, an insurrection or rebellion against the same, then you can be prevented from running for office. And so the argument here is what happened on January 6th and Donald Trump's role in that should prevent him, because it was an insurrection or rebellion, from running.
If the group behind this lawsuit succeeds, how do you expect Donald Trump to respond to all of this?
Yeah, well, if they succeed, and we'll have to know soon, because the ballot, the primary ballot, needs to be set on by January 5th, because the primary election's in March 5th. So if he's kept off, my concern is that then that will give more arguments against the validity of the election. But the reality is, if he was kept off, then a judge would have ruled that way.
If he is kept off, what defenses does he even have right now?
Well, right now, I mean, there's a few defenses. So they've tried this in other states, and there's been mixed results. But the first argument is standing, that these plaintiffs don't have standing. It's a legal argument saying that, hey, they're not really harmed by this. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, has he actually participated in an insurrection or rebellion? Of course, we all know what evidence is out there, and people can reach their own conclusions. But until we go to court and a judge or jury ultimately says yes, the argument is, hey, I wasn't participating in an insurrection.
As you mentioned, this has been tried in other states, some successful, some not. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I was just looking, the New Mexico County Commissioner last year was kept off. He participated in January 6th. There's other liberal groups who've tried to use it on Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? And they kind of got kicked out. Less than a week ago, a federal court dismissed the case. So there's a number of states looking at it. And Jenna Griswold is the named defendant, and that's just because she's the highest voting official, so it's sort of an official capacity. So she's actually looking forward to getting an answer from the judge.
So the ball is already rolling here, because we've seen it happen prior to this, and now we're seeing it here in Colorado. But I'm wondering, going in the future, what kind of precedent this could set?
Well, this is going to set precedent because the whole situation with Donald Trump, both while he was in office and some of the moves that he made, and then subsequent to it as it relates to all the criminal proceedings and civil proceedings, we've never had these things happen. I mean, we're a relatively new country in terms of, you know, our Constitution and things of that nature. So this is actually developing precedent. So this, in a way, is a good thing that we're now having to go through this. That is the silver lining, is that now we have some more defined laws as we go forward. The downside on the political side is that folks are going to then try and use the legal maneuvers to get their political opponents out.
It'll be fascinating to see what happens, for sure. Whitney, thanks for coming in.